guys, so as promised today we are going to take a look at Walk by the Foo Fighters. I'm going to try and cover the main rhythm sections, stuff Chris Shifley and Pat Smear play, as opposed to what Dave Grohl plays, that sort of melodic start in the intro. There's a ton of videos online that cover that section, but I didn't find many that cover that main muted rhythm section that start off with, so I thought we'd take a look at that. And go over that one first of all. It's especially good for beginners who want to learn their muting as well. A great skill to have, so let's check it out that way. But before we get into the lesson, as always, I do appreciate the support you give me here. As you can see, sporting my best Father's Day shirts, courtesy of the kids and the wife, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, this is what your support does. It makes me look fashionable. Don't judge me. So yeah, don't forget to drop me a cheeky like and a cheeky subscribe. And of course, join us over on the Facebook page as well. But for now, let's jump into the lesson, shall we? And let's crack on and see what we can learn. Okay, guys. So, Walk by the Foo Fighters, classic tune. Everyone wants to learn this. If you're going to do a Foo's tune, it's absolutely brilliant. But right, let's jump into it. So, when you're starting off, you want to be looking at your tuning, obviously. This is in standard tuning all the way through. Okay, so that means you've got your low string up here tuned down to E. Then it's A, D, G, B and E on the high string down there. Okay, I've managed to turn off some effects this time. I know I usually have the full complement of my pedal board running, but today I've turned off the overdrive just to give you a bit of a clearer tone, but I'm running a bit of a bypass just so it comes through a bit easier for you. Okay, we're going to focus on the main rhythm, as I say, the Chris Shifley and Pat Smear bit. So when you're starting off and the song kicks in, you've obviously got Dave doing his melodic bit on his guitar, but over that you'll also hear something that will be a little bit like this. Okay, and that's just repeated throughout. So that is a series of palm muted chords, as you can tell. For those that don't know about your palm muting, what you're going to want to do is take the fleshy side of your strum hand and just rest it along the bridge where your strings come through and head up the neck. Just lightly along there, so you'll get this sort of sound. So you can hear, if you're pressing too hard, you don't get that note. And if you just find that light spot that you need. Okay, so it's just a matter of finding the pressure point. Okay, just practice with that a little bit. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to start off on your D string at fret number 7. Okay, and as I say, you're palm muting, and you are just hitting your A and D strings. Okay, so A will be open, and then your D, as you can see there, is on that 7th fret. Okay, and you'll have this. Okay, all down strokes, nice and slow. And then you're going to want to pick your first finger up and just move it up a string, so it's now on the A string. Okay, still at the 7th fret, and this time you are palm muting and strumming your lowest string, your E up here, and the A string together. So you're still downstroking, okay? So you'll have something like this. And then you're forming the power chord sort of shape here. Okay? So your first finger's moved up again so that you're on your low E string at the 7th fret. And this time you've got your ring finger on the A string at fret number 9, okay? And again, we're just down picking whilst palm muting. And then we're moving that shape down a string for each finger. So your first finger is then going to be on fret number 5 on your A string, okay? And your ring finger is going to be on your D string at fret number 7. And again, just down picking those two strings. Okay, and then it's just repeated through. So if you follow through with me, we're starting off again, okay, with your first finger, 7th fret on that D string. Move it up one. Up again and form the power chord. And then the other power chord. Okay, and it just repeats that all the way through, just for the main sort of intro section while Dave is doing his part over the top. If you want to learn that main melodic part, I will drop a video on it in the near future. Alternatively, there's probably a good sort of 10, 11 other videos online that cover that main section. It's just no one was covering this main rhythm section with the muting, so I thought it'd be good for you to go over and have something a little bit different to what everyone else will play. Okay? Now, when we start kicking the music in, it will be, again, coming down to your 2nd fret here, okay? But if we're going over the muting, I'll show you how it sort of comes in, okay? Okay, so what we're doing is we're coming off of that final muted section here, and just sort of try and lean into it. Gently go from your muting and just start to lift your palm up, so that you get it coming ringing in. Okay. And then take your first finger, and you're coming down to effectively strings D and G, and you're going to sort of bar those, if you can, at the 2nd fret, okay? And leave your A string open, right? That 2nd string down from the top. Just leave it open, and try to mute that low E string if you can. You can see I use my thumb here. If you're really good and you don't necessarily need to mute it, and you are just able to hit them without hitting that low E string, great, fantastic. I find it easy to mute myself because I'm a bit of a heavy-handed player. But yeah, just bar those 2 strings, as I say. So here at the 2nd fret, okay? With that A string nice and open, your D and your G is what you're barring, okay? And you're just starting to play along with the track, so. You can alternate strumming with this one. I tend to go sort of, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. There is obviously a way that you can just play it with all downstrokes. Which I believe is what the Foo Fighters actually do. It is all downstrokes, but I just prefer to alternate strum it. I just think it sounds a bit more melodic for me. Now, when we come into the main verse, you'll have it sounding a little bit like this. Okay, so that is what we just started with. Okay, so off your 2nd fret, and what you're doing is you're hitting the chord twice, and then you're effectively stopping the strings. Okay, you're muting them so it doesn't ring out anymore. A couple of ways you can do this. You can lift up with your finger, but I tend to get that ring out because I play with quite a bit of gain, as you can probably hear. The way that I tend to do it is strum it, and then use my remaining fingers and just lightly lay them on the string, and that will mute the sound from ringing out. Or you can do a mixture of both and just use your strum hand just to mute down near the bridge as well, and that will also stop the sound ringing out. Okay, so you've got those couple of ways that you can stop that. Now you come off of that second fret chord that we were doing and into an E chord. Okay. So to form this, you're going to want your middle finger on your A string at the second fret, your third finger at the D string, second fret, and then your first finger is on the G string at the first fret. Okay, you see, sorry if I can move into the camera view there, how I formed it here. Okay. And just play from your fifth string down, okay? And again, same concept. So you're just downstroking again, okay? And this time I'm using my strum hand to mute it. So after each time that I'm hitting it, I'm effectively just stopping it. And 1, 2, stop, 1, 2, stop, 1, 2, stop. I'm strumming it that way. I find it a bit easier. Okay, it's the same thing. You're effectively just muting that sound and you're getting the pop out that they tend to do with it. So you'll have this from the beginning of the verse, okay? All downstrokes, as I say. And then we're moving into the power chord off of the second fret A string, okay? So you're going to have your first finger on the A string here, on the fifth string, okay, at the second fret. And then use your ring, or ring and pinky, whichever you prefer, as I always say, on strings number 4 and 3, just here, okay? So you've got your first and your ring, or ring and pinky, depending on which you prefer. And again, same thing again. Just using your strum hand to mute as you go along, okay? And then move that whole shape up so that your first finger's then on the 5th fret and your ring or ring and pinky then on the 7th fret, okay? And repeat, nice and slow, okay? So we're back again on strings number 4 and 3 at the 2nd fret. Okay, and that's the main verse section. Now when we come to sort of go into the chorus, we're playing that section we've just done, but instead of doing this final power chord here, they start to sort of do a bit of a change up on it, so it sounds a little bit like this. Okay, now what you're doing there, you're still forming that power chord that we originally had, okay? So your first finger is going to be at the 5th fret still. Okay, on that 5th string, so second one down from the top. But this time you're going to have your 3rd finger not on your 4th string. It's going to be on the one below. Okay, so you're on the 3rd string at the 7th fret, as you can see just here. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm muting the string in between. So the 4th string, I'm muting it with the pad of my finger. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it out too well underneath. But effectively I can feel that 4th string is just resting on the pad, so it won't ring out when I hit it. Okay, you have to excuse it with the gain coming through. But again, what you'll get when you form the power chord with your 3rd finger, down there on the 3rd string, you'll get this sort of sound. Okay, you can do it with your little finger as well if that makes it easier. Okay, but what we're going for is that shape, you keep it, okay? So you hit that a couple of times, move it up, okay? So that you're then on the 7th fret with your 1st finger and the 9th fret with your 3rd finger. So you'll have this. Move it up a half step again. So just one fret up one more time with each finger. And then back down to where we started on the 5th fret. So you'll have this. Okay. Okay, that's the first playthrough. The second time they come through on the chorus, you're doing the exact same thing, but instead of coming back down to here, we're taking the whole thing up so that our first finger is on fret number 10, and our third finger is there on fret number 12. So what you'll have coming off the verse, so something a little bit like this. So what we're doing now is once we've come off of that section with the power chords, we are going back to those chords that we started with for the verse, okay? So you're starting again at that 2nd fret on strings number 4 and 3, okay? And you're just barring them and you're playing 5, 4 and 3 together. And what we're doing is, instead of doing that muting that we were doing before, we're just going to let them ring, okay? We're just going to let it all play out. And then the same with the E chord that we were doing as well. Same with that 2nd fret power chord. And then we're doing that power chord with the muting using the pad of your first finger. Okay, so straight up. So you're going from the first finger, we'll call it that way, it's much easier. So going from that 5th fret up to the 7th, up again to the 8th, and then back to the 5th, and then back to playing the chorus from that 2nd fret. Okay, and that second playthrough, instead of going back down, you go up the neck so that your first finger is on the 10th fret and your ring or ring and pinky are then on the 12th fret. Okay, like this. Sorry, my bad. Not ring or ring and pinky, I should say just your ring finger on that 3rd string. Okay, and then we get into that whole sort of melodic section that comes with it. Now, there's a couple of things going on here because obviously Foo Fighters use 3 different guitars, which makes it highly interesting to try and play along to. But you effectively have something that's a little bit like this. A little bit like that, just without the odd mistake here and there, as you can probably hear. So what you're doing, as I say, you're just forming that 2nd fret again. You're barring your 4th and your 3rd string, and you're hitting from the 5th string down, and you're just playing it for 2 phrases. So 8 beats, 2 phrases. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we go back to that E chord. Same again, 8 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a couple of variations that I've seen you can play. I tend to play the power chord off of the 5th fret myself. Okay, so first finger at 5, third finger at 7 on the 5th string. Okay. Alternatively, you can play it down at the 3rd fret from the 5th and 4th strings. Okay, a couple of ways you can play it, as I say. But as I say, I'm coming through along these lines. Ready? Okay, so coming off of that 5th fret power chord that I formed there, I drop it down, okay, so that we're then, first finger is on the 5th string, 5th fret, and my ring, or ring and pinky, depending on how you play your power chords, are on strings number 4 and 3 at the 7th fret. And then they repeat the whole thing again. So I'll go through it a bit slower, so we're off here, okay, back at the 2nd fret barring, as we've been doing for a lot of this song. So just follow through with me, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and it just repeats through for the chorus, okay? Chris Shifley is playing a little bit in the background, which I believe sounds a little bit like this. Okay, that's very similar to what we've been doing where we're muting that string with our pad on our first finger. Okay, so you're forming that shape again with your 3rd finger. It's going to be on string number 3 at fret number 6, so just here. And your 1st finger, fret number 4, string number 5. Okay, and you're muting the string that's in between the two. And you're effectively just playing that twice. Move it up a half step, so we're up a fret each. And then twice again. Full step this time, so we're coming up 2 frets. Okay. Which is where we were. And then up another fret on each finger. And then up 2 frets for each one. And then up 2 frets again to finish. Okay, so there's a couple of bits going on there. We can do the elongated part that I originally went through, or you can do that Chris Shifley bit that I've just shown you there. Whichever you find simpler. I mean, even mix it up a bit. Play one part with the elongated chords that we initially went through, or you can play the second part again, the Chris bit, and it will come across a bit different. Shows your sort of range, as well, your scale, okay, of what you can do. And then once we've come through the whole sort of chorusy melodic bit that they're doing, they end it back down here where we originally started. Okay. And that is the main parts to the rhythm section. You piece them together as I've just shown you there. Just add that main verse again for the main outro and just go through again. That is all it takes to play this song, okay? As I say, you can mix it up on parts that you want to play. Have a check out if you want to do the lead part by Dave Grohl. and see if you want to go along with that, or alternatively play it as I play it here, because who doesn't want to play like me with this fantastic shirt showing a pair of pants all the way through the video, eh? Yeah, okay. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, do not forget to give me a cheeky like and subscribe. I will try and jump back in the week with another video for you. I'm not sure what we'll learn next week. We'll keep it a surprise, shall we? But in the meantime, as always, guys, stay safe, look after each other, and I will catch you next time.